Hey, Regina here at Tarot and Time, and I'm here to talk to you about the month ahead of February. And I'm excited today to have a special guest with me. So I'm not here just talking myself. I have the wonderful Patti Kitson here. Hi,
Hi
Patti.
there.
Everybody should know Patti from Tarot and Time. She's been with me from the start in 2019 when we first signed the lease. And little did we know we were heading into COVID. And Patti and I eagerly, right? Patti jumped into the virtual
Absolutely.
world. Um, Not something either of us were really prepared for, but we had to do it. And so here we are today talking over Zoom, and we just want to give you a little twist for the new year of talking about astrology and pulling some tarot cards together, talking about this amazing month of February. We're looking for feedback too, so if you have any suggestions for us or let us know what you're looking for, that would be really helpful. So feel free to comment below. So, Patti, here we are. It's February. Pluto, which I feel like everybody, I mean, weren't they were singing about the age of Aquarius in the 60s, right?
Yes, they were.
In the 60s. And I think this is what they were talking about, right? Is the movement of Pluto into the sign of Aquarius.
Exactly.
And so this is like everybody's been talking about this. It's a big deal. And here we are. And when I started to look at the astrology report, I was like, it felt like there's been so much, hype, like, oh, Pluto in Aquarius. And now we're in Aquarius season, and we've got all these planets in Aquarius. And I almost looked at it like, oh my goodness, what's next? Because to me, Aquarius is a very unpredictable sign. You just never know. It can be great stuff. It can be things out of the blue, but it can also bring great change. So I'm kind of just looking at the pages for a while, like, whoa, I'm not even sure. What was your take, Patti, when you first took a look at February?
Oh, yeah, it looks really intense with that Pluto energy. I mean, Aquarius already wants to make changes, and then Pluto comes along and wants to amp it up. So, Aquarius is also the sign of the genius, but it could be the mad scientist. It could be a little of both. So, I think it's going to bring about great transformation, but hopefully transformation that benefits the whole. Because we just came out of Capricorn, which is a very heavier, much heavier energy. It's more of a male energy, even though I think it's a female considered sign, but it's really about the patriarchy. It's about big business and government. And now Aquarius wants to break the rules. So Capricorn made the rules, and Aquarius says, I'm going to come around and I'm going to break them. And I think that's needed at this point. We need to restructure because big government, unfortunately, government has become kind of it's languished, and it isn't supporting the people. What it's doing is that they're supporting themselves, the politicians. We need to break that down. There's too much of that energy where they're not helping people, they're just helping themselves. So I think
Absolutely.
Aquarius is a really good energy to come in here and say, no, this doesn't work for us anymore. You got to think of the people. So it may be people going to rise up and speak a lot more, speak their truth, and want to make real changes.
Absolutely. And hopefully in the most peaceful way possible.
I
Uh,
hope so.
an Aquarian, it rules large groups of people, and it rules, the humanitarian, which I think is so cool to think about. Like you said, like not just about everybody for themselves, but everybody as a
Mhm.
whole. And we are long overdue for that. So in our daily lives, how is Aquarius season going to affect us? I mean, we it's not just Aquarius season, it's not just the sun in Aquarius. By mid-month, we have 5 planets in Aquarius.
Exactly. Hmm.
And so it's going to be an interesting ride. Now, Pluto, which has been in the sign of Capricorn since 2008, is now going to be, it's in Aquarius, but it is going to retrograde back to that 29th degree of Capricorn a bit this year. And by November, it will be fully out of Capricorn. So all of you Capricorns out there are going to take a big exhale because this planet's going to kind of have done its cleanup work in your sign and won't return there in a Capricorn's lifetime. Go
Well,
ahead.
it's interesting to see what's going to happen because it retrogrades into Capricorn September 1st. Then it goes back to Aquarius November 19th. So during the US election, it's in Capricorn.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm
and
wondering
then
what's going to happen there because we need change. And yet it's going to be sitting there in Capricorn during the election. So, yeah.
and then moving, I want to say it's by like the 16th, I think is the date of November is when it moves back into Aquarius for good.
It's the
So
19th. Yes.
the 19th. Okay. So right as we're going into, or well, we're at the peak of Scorpio season, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So this is going to be an interesting year, interesting year. But so here we go. Aquarius season in February. This is a month that contains an Aquarius new moon, right? In the beginning of the month,
Hmm.
along on the 9th, along with the Chinese New Year, which it's kind of exciting to think it's a year of the dragon. I don't know why
Yes.
that makes me kind of excited. And it's a wood dragon. So big day on the 9th there to really kick off the new year, to really think about our hopes and our dreams. I was thinking about the new moon. I talk a lot about like placing your order on new moons. And this new moon, it's like, I really want to drop the wishes. I hate the word wishes. Is that horrible? I
Mm.
just hate it. I feel like it feels so airy fairy. I want to get my order placed in on that new moon. And I was thinking about how like really every day in life, I was at the car dealership the other day and I was thinking to myself, I'm just sitting here waiting for them to tell me what's going to happen. Why don't I think about what I want to happen? And
Hmm.
so I did that. I envisioned that I wanted them to give me a loaner car. That was the best outcome for me. Give me a loaner car and let it be an upgrade and let me see if I like it. And within a few minutes, that's exactly what happened. And so I guess what I'm going with this is that this new moon in Aquarius is so exciting because you think about what your order is that you want to place on a new moon, but you really got to think about what is it I even want, or how is it that I really even want to feel? And to me, with a Chinese New Year mixed in with an Aquarius new moon on the 9th, I think that there's a possibility for greatness.
There is. And also to accept and acknowledge the greatness in others because it's about the whole, it's about the community. So it's also being very open to different ideas and different people. So not to be stuck in a certain way of thinking and seeing things. And I agree with you when you say you need to place an order. You can't waver. You have to say, I need this or I want this. Don't go about it like you're kind of begging for it. Just go in and say, I'm doing this, I'm getting that. Now it could be when you place your order or when you put things out, maybe some things don't happen, but that's okay because things might be in the works. You could
Yeah.
always address it again later on, but it's always good to put that out there and make sure you're very clear on what you want.
Agreed. And sometimes I feel like personally, I'm like, well, I'm not sure if that's what I want. So lately I've just been saying, you know what? This is what I want. Please show me if that's the highest and best thing for me.
Mhm.
And just kind of letting it go because maybe it's a mistake, but maybe it's not. And maybe I should just make a choice and ask for what I want.
Well,
So
that's why it's good too, because you ask, and if it doesn't happen, there could be a reason why. Maybe it's not ready for you yet. Maybe that's not what you need, but it's good to be clear and just
absolutely.
accept whatever the outcome is.
Absolutely. And with Aquarius, it's like the outcome could be something that you haven't even imagined yet.
Exactly. So this is the time to dream big, really big, outside the
Yes.
box. And also just recognize the genius in yourself and other people around you.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. So then we'll go into well, we'll have a lot of planets in Aquarius. We're going to talk about Valentine's Day, which was like, whoo, boy, do I have some things to say about Valentine's Day. So then we'll also go into how we're going into a Virgo full moon. That's later in the month. But that is an interesting one. On the 24th, right? We have
Yeah.
the full Virgo moon, 7:30 a.m. and
Eastern. Yeah.
Eastern, yep, Eastern, and that's a 5-degree Virgo moon. It's going to be opposite Mercury and Saturn and square Jupiter. And so, Patty, you had a good take on this. What were you saying about this full moon?
I was saying that, Virgo's very organized. They want things a certain way. Now it's opposite Mercury and Saturn, who also want their way. They kind of could be butting heads here. I think people might be too hard on themselves, might want things to be perfect when things might end up getting messy because it's trying Jupiter, and Jupiter might just throw something in there to throw things off, but maybe something that's necessary. But yeah, it's just, be open to things that aren't going to be perfect. I think sometimes we think perfection is what we need. No, sometimes we need to move forward and acknowledge that everything's not going to be perfect, but also there's a reason for that. And I do think we're hard on ourselves and then we're hard on others because
Yeah.
we will project that perfection. As somebody with Virgo rising, I can tell you that happens and it's not good.
Yeah, yeah. When we were chatting about this earlier, I was saying like Patty's a Virgo rising, and I think every planet in my chart squares Jupiter.
Oh,
So yeah, yeah. And so it's like, it's kind of like you being detailed and me being like, let's just try it. Let's try everything. Let's see what
hmm,
works. Right. And so there's kind of like both kinds of energy there on that full Virgo moon. And so
yes.
kind of finding the good middle ground. Maybe things aren't going to be as neat and clean as we expect it to be, but maybe it's in process of greatness.
Yeah, because that's what Jupiter expansing. So maybe if things don't work out exactly the way you wanted, there's a reason. It kind of reminds me of the Hanged Man card. He's hanging upside down and he's got that halo of illumination around him. There's some genius going on in that having to be still. So sometimes when things don't go your way, maybe it is good to take a step back and maybe there's some bigger picture of something else you missed that's even better.
Ooh, I like that. That's great. I thought it was interesting too because the new year started off with the Virgo moon, right? The moon in Virgo on New Year's Eve. And I like to look at that chart for the year to see kind of what the kickoff is. And Mercury, that rules Virgo, was in retrograde at the time, right? So we had like almost like a Mercury retrograde theme for the year.
Hmm.
Had like all like about details and about kind of going back over the details. It's a great year for that. And
Yes.
now we come upon the first like full moon in Virgo. To me, it feels like it activates that New Year's energy.
Yeah.
So I saw us kind of going back through the mess, so to speak, go back through and see, there might be some good ideas in those piles. There might be
Yeah.
whatever it is, like maybe you're going through old video or old photos, or there may be some gems in there, I guess is the vibe I was getting.
I agree with that because when it was in retrograde, that's a good time to make plans, to put things down and to
Yeah.
figure out what you want. But then um, when we get to that new moon, we'll find that we have to be a little more flexible because we have Mercury and Saturn saying, wait a minute, we have other things we want to do. So
Oh,
we
you
have
mean
some
full
the
moon,
full
right?
moon.
Okay, we're going to talk about Valentine's Day. And I mean, all I can do is laugh, right? When you look at Valentine's Day, it just feels like, oh my goodness, couldn't it be a different day? The moon's in Aries, right? So we've got this feisty Aries warrior energy, right? We've got Venus still in the sign of Capricorn. We've got 4 planets in Aquarius. We've got Pluto in there. So there's just like this whole bunch of stuff going on and all sorts of squares, right? So my advice, first off, was please celebrate it a different day. Like, if you can do it, celebrate it a different day. Monday's a great day. Tuesday, the 13th, not bad. Okay. Friday, the 16th, pretty good. The weekend's a little intense, but better than the 14th. What were
I
your
agree.
thoughts?
Yeah, the moon in Aries, the Aries is it's about me. And if it's not about you, you're not going to be happy and you're definitely going to say the wrong thing. So put it off till another day. If you do go out, don't drink because you definitely will say something that you shouldn't say. Or
Oh,
as
yeah.
you mentioned, if you're going to do something, go to a movie, do something calm because
Right?
emotions are going to run high and the expectations might be way too high. There might be disappointment for some people. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I was saying earlier, like, yeah, the movie theater was the first thing that came to mind, or a theater or something where like you're watching the stage and you're not having
You're
to
quiet.
because there's going to be, it could be easily feisty.
Mhm.
It could, yes, it could be sexy. Pluto's in there, yes, but how many obstacles that you're
Yeah.
gonna have to, overcome. So I would say if you have to do Valentine's Day, you might, on the 14th, you might want to do it up pretty big. You might want to show up with flowers and expect it to be spicy and maybe try to keep things a little cool, however that
Yeah.
can be done.
And if you think it might not work out for you that way, go to a yoga class.
Yeah, go to a yoga class. That's a
That
good
would be good to go
idea.
with your loved one, a yoga class. Maybe they have a lover's yoga class. That might be perfect. You'd both be calm, more relaxed. That might be the perfect thing to do on Valentine's.
I like it. And so Mars moves to Aquarius on Tuesday that week. So Mars is how you take action, and Aquarius is different. So maybe like you could mix it up. I mean, I think most like hotels and spas and those kind of things have discounts midweek. You can save money, go on a Monday or Tuesday, do something different, break up old traditions, do it a little different. Um, but be careful on the 14th. Just take
Yeah, that's actually a good idea because, yeah, hotels are usually quieter on a Monday or Tuesday, even restaurants. So that, and also then you won't have to deal with all the other people because they rush you in and out of restaurants. So that might be a
right.
nice time to go out.
Or even Sunday the 11th is a great day because the moon's in Pisces, and Pisces is
Mhm.
like, I wrote on Sunday the 11th, oh, like it's
Yeah,
just like relax. I mean,
yeah.
Pisces rules anything that takes you away from society. So I love to say it rules spas and, bathtubs and anything
Hmm.
that you just are taken away. So
Yeah, exactly.
actually, Sunday the 11th is my money's on Sunday the 11th for celebrating if you can, otherwise into Monday the 12th.
Yeah, that would be fun, relaxing, creative. It's got kind of a dreamlike quality. The expectations won't be high. You'll be a lot more relaxed.
Absolutely. So we're going to break it down week by week, and these weeks will be broken up into short clips for later and reposted. So let's start off where we left off last month, which was
Mhm.
on 2/5. Okay, so we're in Aquarius season on 2/5. And I wrote down for Monday that change is the word, but in what direction? There's lots of fog going on because the moon has a square with Neptune, but you can get lost in the creativity there on Monday the 5th. So you might want to take some time out for that. Keep in mind that the chart is really like the chart for the day, it's really not balanced. It's going to be one-sided, and it's different
Mhm.
for everybody's chart where it lands, but wherever it's going to be grouped, the energy is going to be grouped together. So if you find that something's not working out or it's frustrating that you can't get something done, there's no energy in that part of your chart. So kind of follow the flow of where things are moving for you. That was my advice for most of the month in general.
Mhm.
So on Tuesday the 6th, I wrote down fall in love with your life, even the responsibilities. The moon will be in Capricorn. And the Capricorn moon is going to be conjunct together with Venus in Capricorn. So it's kind of like, I don't know, Patty, I think of Capricorn, think of all my responsibilities, all my
Mhm.
paperwork, all the things I got to do. But together with Venus, it's like you got to love what you're doing, right?
You have to love what you're doing. Exactly.
Even if you're paying the bills, it's like sometimes I like to just do a little mantra of like, I love my life. And even if I'm writing bills, it's like I'm lucky to be able to even be able to pay this bill and kind of keeping that vibe up. And that's the energy I was picking up for Tuesday the 6th.
Yeah, I agree with that. You do have to love what you do. I know it's hard for some people. Sometimes they have to have a job that they don't love, but there's probably aspects of it that they do, and they could also tell themselves, but it is paying my bills or it is helping my children or my family. So
Yeah.
yeah, find something to love about what you do.
Yeah, and also like it's a good time to really like look at your budget or look at where, how you can stash away a little bit of money to do something
Mhm.
fun for yourself, right? So that you can have like guilt-free fun. And so that's a really great day there on the 6th to think about those things. Wednesday the 7th, again, we have like 5 planets on top of each other. And I wrote down, could there be love? And I saw a lot of opportunity there for love kind of out of the blue. So if you're if you're single and looking to date, or you're just looking for just more love in our life, more joy. And a lot of this can come through our friend groups because it is Aquarius season,
Mhm.
right? So Wednesday the 7th, I've got some hearts on it.
It could
Love
also
to
be doing things you love with the people you love, or doing things with like-minded people, because you don't know what's going to come of that.
Absolutely. Now we'll continue with the moon in Aquarius on the 8th. And as we're moving up into the Aquarius new moon. So we talk about the 9th is not only the Aquarius new moon, which is going to be square Uranus and Taurus, right? What's your take
Yeah.
on that, Patty?
Oh,
Aquarius.
well, you got the new moon in Aquarius, which wants things a little differently, and you've got square Uranus and Taurus, and now Uranus is that energy that can really have things happen out of the blue. Also, will it affect how you feel stable, how you feel comfortable? Maybe it's going to encourage you to get out of your comfort zone a bit.
Yeah, because you think, like Uranus is one of the rulers of
Mhm.
Aquarius, right? So it's like
Exactly.
squaring its own stuff in a way.
Exactly. It is. And it's also in Taurus where you feel comfortable. So maybe you kind of have to do something, get out of your comfort zone a little bit.
Yeah, and I almost think that like I don't know, I always remember like when we were taking courses with Sheila Haidt, how she would talk about like squares versus like zesting. Like if it can hit just right, right? And I think of like Uranus and Taurus to me has money written all over it,
It does.
right? It's almost like maybe it's a good day to buy a lottery ticket because if it can hit just right, right? There could be it could be kind of exciting.
Yeah, take a chance. I like that. Take a chance.
Good chance. And on your Chinese New Year, Wood Dragon. So then we move ahead into a Pisces weekend. And so on Saturday, the moon is going to be conjunct together with Saturn. So I wrote down lighten up a little bit, right? Because Pisces kind of wants to just chill out. And Saturn is like, let's do this, right? Kind of the strictness, the rules. And so it's like, where can we lighten up a little bit more? Where can
Yeah.
we bring in the daydreaming part? Because we need the daydreaming part of our plans, right? We need to imagine it and then we can get it done. What were
Yeah,
you feeling?
Pisces is I want to think about it, I want to dream about it, and then Saturn comes in and says, "Well, what are we doing with these dreams? Let's materialize them. Let's do something." So there should be a happy medium there. I know that one thing is going to hit the other, but there could be a happy medium there. Maybe Saturn will give you a little structure to your dreams and make and have you think about how can I bring them into reality.
Hmm. Yeah, I can see like sketching out your ideas. So
hmm
Pisces,
Sketching out your
right?
ideas because Saturn's going to say, okay, you've been dreaming enough, you've been sleeping enough. Come on, let's make things happen here. So Saturn might give you some reason to kind of bring things to fruition or really start thinking, yeah, this is possible. This is not just a dream. Or make you realize this is not going to work.
Right,
So
right,
Saturn's going
right.
to give you the structure and the ability to discern whether or not it's a good idea or a good way to move forward.
I like that. And then the Aquarius theme kind of over the top of it of like new ideas and
Mhm.
modern technology and all of that. Okay. And then on Sunday, the day that I had recommended would be a great day to celebrate Valentine's Day, we've got the moon in Pisces. The moon is conjunct together with Neptune, the ruler of Pisces. So it's almost like double Pisces energy,
Oh, God, yeah. That could be
right?
a romantic, fun, relaxing, daydreamy kind of day where maybe you even talk to the person you're with. What are your big dreams? What do you want to do?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that. I like that. Okay, so Patty, we were going to pull some cards. Let's mix in some
Okay.
tarot into this. And I was thinking if we both pulled two cards just to represent the week of 2/5 through 2/11 and see what
Okay.
advice we have for our listeners.
Okay.
What can you tell them what deck you're working with?
I am working with the Light Seers Tarot.
Light Seers, that's a classic that we have in stock in Kent. And pretty soon our new online store's coming. It's getting done. So hopefully we'll have decks
Yay.
there soon too. What are you working? You're working with the Light Seers.
Yes, I am.
Okay. And I've got two new decks here. I got This Might Hurt, which is a hilarious title, and I'm loving this deck. I'm working with that one. And then my daughter just introduced me to the Cozy Witch Tarot deck, and I just ordered some for the store. So these are coming. And go ahead, Patty. What'd you get?
Okay. Oh, look at this. Knight of Cups. Isn't that
Ooh,
perfect for Valentine's?
he's
And the
cute.
Nine of Pentacles. It looks like, oh, it could be a very nice day with these two cards. So if we're thinking of celebrating like Valentine's Day, look at this. This is the time to do it. I
Yeah.
see that there could be a lot of fun. Things can be brought to fruition. It's okay to dream big, reach high, but look at that. I think you were right on target when you said to celebrate Valentine's on the weekend. This is a good indication of that.
I love it. I mean, they're just such beautiful cards. And, that was the Aquarius. This is the Aquarius new moon week. We were talking
Mhm.
about placing your order. Now, if you are looking for love, this is the time to place the order of how you want to
Yeah, dream
feel,
big.
right?
Look, it's right there for you. It's there for the picking, whatever it is you want. So this could be a good time to do that. But I like that you happen to mention it was that weekend, and that could
Yeah,
be it.
I like it. So I also, you had a nine. I got two nines here. And the first one is the Nine of Cups, and it says live in a constant state of gratitude. Look at this little, she's like living out of
Oh,
her van here. She's making tea. It's like
nice.
it's the simple stuff. It's the beautiful stuff. This feels so Aquarian to me, just that she's living in a van.
Oh, yes, yes.
Right? Living in this van with her dog. So a constant state of gratitude. So that kind of goes back to what I was saying about like paying the bills and just being grateful that you even can, right? That you have an
Hmm.
opportunity to have what we have. So gratitude, even in the little things, the quirky things, who we are. We don't have to be like everybody else. And then I got the Nine of Wands, which
Wow.
isn't that cool? I love that
Yeah.
it's all pens and pencils, and
Hmm.
he's really sketching some stuff out here. And, Aquarius is an air sign, got a lot of planets in air, and there's a lot of stuff that we can just be receiving and it can leave through our pen, right? We can be writing away.
Exactly.
So, and Nine of Wands to me, like he looks like he's like, it's pretty intense. But in another way, this could also be it's fiery energy. And if you're going to be celebrating Valentine's Day, you can use that passionate energy in your life. But again,
Absolutely.
it doesn't have to be like spending all your money either. Like she's
No.
simply sipping tea by the water.
And it's the little things in life that really matter. That's what really does matter.
Absolutely. All right. Well, enjoy February 5th through February 11th. We're going to move into the official week of Valentine's Day, which is 2/12 through 2/18. And, I was looking at the chart for the month in general, and it's kind of shaped like a bowl. Okay. So like on one end of the bowl, you got Uranus, right? The planet, one of the planets that rules Aquarius, the planet of, oh, wow,
Hmm.
unpredictable change. And on the other side of the bowl, you have Venus, right? So Uranus kind of represents helpful friends, unexpected helpful friends, old friends, all of those groups of people. And then you got Venus on the other side. So it's kind of bouncing back and forth. So it's kind of interesting to see. Maybe this month we'll get to see a little bit more about who our friends are, right? What everything, the whole cup is being supported on both sides by these two planets. I think that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think with Uranus there, I think things will come to the front. You'll be able to see, because of that expanded energy, who are your real friends? Have you
Hmm.
been relying on the right people? It also might expand your friend group. You might find you're going to meet a lot of different interesting people, maybe even through the people you already know. But it is going to make you examine your relationship if they're on either side. Like, who really is in your corner? Who does really love you? Who's really has your back?
Ooh, I
And I think
love
Uranus
that.
is going to really show you that, because that expansive energy, it's going to make you see things a little differently.
I like that. And I like, this is Valentine's Day week. And then we already talked about how the moon's going to be in Aries that day. And Aries is about I am, right? It's about us. And
Yes,
so in some ways, this Valentine's Day is the best day to spend with yourself doing what you want. Like if
exactly.
you could celebrate with someone else if you want to, ideally, like we said on the 11th or 12th, but Valentine's Day is a great day to show up and be a really good friend for yourself, to show up and do what you want to do. And yeah, and just to love yourself more.
Yes, because if you're just spending it with you, you'll never be disappointed.
True, that's true. All right, so we're going to start off the week. We got Mars moving into Aquarius in the beginning of the week. We've got, let's see, Tuesday we have the Aries moon square Venus. So, yeah, it might be okay day to celebrate Valentine's Day, but there still is that square. That's not ideal. So I wouldn't count
Mm.
today as the most ideal day. We've already talked about Wednesday. We've already talked about it in the beginning. We really advise you to keep it cool, to not put a lot of expectations on that day. And I would show up, I would, if you're going on a date, I would make a really big effort
Oh,
to
really
show
big
up.
effort. Make sure you know exactly what that person's like, their
Yeah.
flowers, the restaurant they want to go to, or whatever it is. If you're going to a play or movie, make sure you make the right choices.
Yes. And something that keeps your attention, like a play or a movie, would be great.
Mhm.
Now, Thursday, you really want to, it's a really good day to continue the do your own thing. So if you ideally could do anything this week, I'd spend Wednesday and Thursday alone. You're gonna, it's a little too sensitive. You don't want to be around insensitive people, especially on Thursday. Okay, on Friday the 16th, again, just avoiding conflict. We've got some squares, but we do have some nice trines. And I wrote down that intellectual conversation. I wrote intellectual conversation equals sexy. That's what I wrote down for,
Ah,
right? There's a lot of air energy. Mars, I think Mercury by then is in Aquarius. So, like, stimulating conversation is where it's at. All right. As we move into a Gemini weekend. So on Friday, avoid conflict, choose your words wisely. You might make a new friend Friday the 16th. Then we move into the Gemini weekend. On Saturday, we're going to make sure the conversation is good, positive, upbeat. And Gemini rules your local community. So it's great to get out and about locally, be social, support your local economy over the weekend. And then we move into Pisces season on Sunday. So we're going to start to see the transition of these planets moving from all these air signs more over into scooting into water season, right?
yeah. Scooping into water season. Yeah, I agree with the avoiding conflict. So if you think you need to have a rough conversation or a difficult one, don't have it on the 16th. Wait.
Yeah.
Wait a few days. Try do something else with your time. It is good to spend time with yourself, or just doing things, self-care, or doing things that move you forward. But if you feel that you have to have a conversation, I would definitely hold off on it if it's going to be a difficult one.
Yeah, and I would hold off a little bit because we're going to be heading into a full moon week.
Oh yeah,
It gets a little
emotions
wacky.
will run high.
Yeah. So, Patti, let's pick a few cards for our Valentine's Day week and 212 to 218. Let's see what advice we have for our viewers. And all right. Do you want to go first?
Okay, now the deck I am using is the Tarot of the Owls. I love this deck. The first card I got was the Two of Pentacles. Then I got Temperance. Ooh, balance. Definitely keep your footing. Keep your head about you. Keep your footing. Listen to your intuition. But it really is about balancing your expectations of yourself and others. Look at that.
Yeah, really.
You really, it's interesting that I got two cards of balance here. So that's what it's telling you. Make sure you keep your footing and you don't fall off or get pushed
Yeah.
out of whack in any way. But yeah.
I kept getting like, don't overspend.
Yeah, don't overspend. Yeah, don't
Yeah.
overdo anything because there's the coins right over your head. So you might want to make wise decisions also when it comes to money.
Yeah. Yep. Because you're
Keep
not
that in
like,
mind when you're planning something. But yeah, I love these cards.
you're beautiful. And then you were saying like, be careful about drinking alcohol on Valentine's Day because it's already feisty enough and there's already enough
Oh
obstacles.
yeah, so there's that too, because you could definitely end up falling in that little river there in the temperance card if you have too
Yeah.
much to drink. So be aware of that. Don't have too much to drink. That's actually an
Yeah.
excellent point.
River of emotions.
River of
Okay.
emotions.
You don't want to fall in there. No. All right. So I got the Emperor from this Cozy Witch Tarot deck, and it says, being the authority of your own life comes with a lot of responsibility. And
Ooh.
interesting because the Emperor is Aries, right? And so we have
Mhm.
Aries moon on Valentine's Day. And interesting how she's kind of solo, right? We're talking a lot about that. I'm not sure what is she holding? Is it a watch?
Looks like a watch or a timepiece of some kind. Is that what she has?
Yeah, it almost looks like a pocket
A
watch.
pocket
Yeah.
watch. That's what it looks like.
Being the authority of your own life comes with a lot of responsibility, but it kind of just reminds me of me saying that thing about writing the check and being grateful. It comes with
Hmm.
a lot of responsibilities, and look how elegant she is in all of it.
Absolutely. And timing is everything. Look at that.
Timing is everything. I love it. And I also got the Queen of Wands, interesting
Oh.
version of her. Now, she would be an Aries queen with this
Hmm.
Aries energy, but I like that I got two solo women, although she's
Yes.
got her life partner there around her neck, it looks like. And so she's drawing, she's doing something that makes her happy. And so this Valentine's Day week to me just is like own it. Own your power to stop expecting others. Yeah, if you're in a relationship, I get it. You want the other person to show up to a point, but please don't forget that this is a made up holiday.
Yeah, it is. And think of it this way. If you're going to spend time with somebody who loves you, spend it with your pet. She's got that cat around her neck.
So
There you
cute.
go. That who loves you more than your pet? No one.
There you go. So happy Valentine's Day week. We're going to move into February 19th through 25th as we start off President's Day with the moon in Cancer. So watery season. Here we go. Sun in Pisces. We got a moon in Cancer. I wrote down take a sweet bath. I mean, what day is
Yeah.
better for a bath than a watery day like Monday the 19th?
Oh yeah, with that moon in Cancer, oh yeah, you really need to relax, let things go. Don't let things bother you, because emotions can run very high. So it would be good to just relax and chill.
Yeah, emotions run big all week and it's a full moon week.
Yeah.
And it's Pisces season. And as much as like I feel like Pisces is one of those signs that we just like it tends to get the same labels, it's like yes, it's foggy, it's creative, but it's karmic. And like
Mhm.
that's the part sometimes that I think is a little bit hard to explain. But when you look at Pisces as the last sign of the zodiac, right? Then in some ways, we're looking back at that whole year before, right?
Exactly.
We're kind of reflecting. It's almost like an end of year summary.
Yeah, it's like it's got all the experience of all the other signs right there. So that's probably why it's so heavy and laden with so much because it's gotten everything that's happened before is kind of there.
Yeah,
Um,
to me, it's
all,
like the body, right? Like the body remembering everything, right?
mhm. And it
It's,
is the 12th house. So just think of it, we've gotten to the end. So you have to transform to go back to the first house because it's also the sign of transformation.
yeah, it almost feels like or being reborn. Like you can't take everything with you. So it's almost
Exactly.
like we're cleaning up. Pisces is cleanup season, but some of
Hmm.
the cleanup requires kind of sitting in it. And if it's foggy, then we need time to process what it is exactly that we are ready to let go of.
Exactly, because it's also can be like a confining energy. So sometimes you have to sit with it in order to break free, in order to change.
Absolutely. And, up here in New England, this is a great time to be hibernating, right? This is a great time for it. So you can take advantage of this Pisces season to let yourself sit in those emotions, let yourself process what's all gone on this past year. And sometimes I think that our mind thinks one thing, that we're where
Mhm.
we are in our process, but the body remembers a lot different. I've told the story a few times of like going to get a massage. And obviously, the woman who was working on me must have been pretty psychic because she told me a story. She said, "I'll never forget that you told me that story about what happened to you." And I said, "What story?" And she proceeded to tell me this whole story. And I knew that story. And it happened when I was 19. And I had never told anyone that story. But my
Wow.
body told her the story of having a massage and feeling very unsafe. Right. And so the body remembers, is my point. The body remembers. And so during Pisces season, our mind might say, "Yeah, okay, I've dealt with that and I've processed that and I've got that and I'm going to therapy for that." But the body needs us to sit in it and to listen to it and to
Mhm.
process it and to release it. I think that's why I like baths so much, because you can do all that and you can
Yeah.
watch it all go down the drain.
Exactly. Yeah. And you're in a kind of a confined space, but it's good because it's soothing and it's warm and it's kind of where you need to be in order to move on. But yeah, it's not, it's actually a good sign because it does help you to release a lot of things if you're open to it.
If you're open to it, otherwise you're probably just going to be swimming in it.
Yeah. Or else you're going to be
Right.
swimming in it. Yeah. You got to
Right.
be willing to let things go.
Right. So it's a good time right now to be looking at that and not like trying to just come up with the answers, observing what your body's telling you. So that's
Mhm.
why I think this is a great time for baths, candlelit baths, and see what emotions are coming up. Maybe after you get out of it, journal quick what came up. Because sometimes it's just memories, it's just all sorts of different things, but it kind of shows you what's coming up to the surface and what needs to come out.
Yeah, because that's when you're relaxed. You're all, almost in like a meditative state. So that is a good time then to journal afterwards if you've had a nice relaxing bath.
Absolutely. So I wrote down for Wednesday, the 21st, don't fall in love with the love bombing. Learn the definition of manipulation. And there's a few reasons why I wrote that, but it came over pretty strongly to me. So just be careful. We see a lot of people who have extreme behavior will show us like Ah, Pisces is foggy and it can be very emotional. It can be very uh, poetic and sensual and romantic. But just be aware of that everything you see might not be true, especially on Wednesday, the 21st.
Exactly, exactly. Don't believe everything you see. And also, sometimes Pisces only want you to see what they want you to see. So you don't get to see the whole truth because they're not always facing it within themselves. So they're not about to show you.
Absolutely. Now, Thursday the 22nd, do what you want. The drama level is a little high. There's like a high thermostat there on the 22nd with the moon in Leo. And on Friday the 23rd, as Mercury, the planet of communication, moves into the sign of Pisces, right, which is a psychic placement,
Hmm.
which I say to people a lot, "Oh, this is a psychic placement." Doesn't mean that you have to be a psychic. It just means that you probably speak nonverbal. You probably, if you have this placement in your chart, or during this period, you may find that you receive information in different ways other than your ears.
Exactly. I know I've said that to people. You know, you're going to get messages sometimes in totally different ways. You could just be walking down the street and something will pop into your head, or you'll hear a bird sing, it'll remind you of something, or a phone will ring. It's all different ways that you might get a message. So you just have to be open to that.
Yes. And remember that the body is when people have that natally Mercury and water signs, like Patty and I both do. I think we
Hmm.
both have it in Scorpio, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, remember that sometimes emotion is speaking to us. There's a little, I talk a lot about the difference between being afraid and then having your gut intuition, right? There's a little, and it takes a little while to navigate the difference, but
Exactly.
you can start to feel that you feel something immediately. Maybe you can't place it, or you don't understand it, or you don't want to believe it. But as you do this exercise, and this time of year with Mercury and Pisces is a good time to do this kind of exercise where you just see, I felt that, and you pay attention to see if it's true later on. I find that most often what comes through to watery Mercuries, their accuracy rate's pretty high.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of intuitive people out there who just don't pay attention to their intuition. This is a time to really do that. Take a
Absolutely.
step back, listen to what you're hearing, don't dismiss it. And then again, if something doesn't happen, then wait and see if it happens in the future. Trust your intuition, it's there for a reason.
I talk a lot about dread. I think dread is an very great navigational tool to in general when we're talking about
Yeah.
using our intuition, right? Because dread is kind of our way, our body saying, it's like, are we afraid, or is it that we know that something isn't there for us?
Mm.
I like to use dread as a navigation tool.
Sometimes it's because the challenge seems too big when it really isn't. Sometimes it's just a challenge and you feel dread as a water sign. I can definitely attest to that. I feel
Yeah.
dread because I'm comfortable being in my watery little place and not stepping out of my comfort zone. But I recognize that's what it is. Not that something awful is going to happen, that it's just me and I
Yeah.
have to push through that energy. So yeah, you have to recognize when that's what it is, when it's just maybe a challenge you feel you're afraid of, or something you really need to pay attention to and maybe not do that thing or go to that place or speak to that person, but really pay attention to that.
Right. And I think Pisces season is a great time to like observe how many times that you felt that you
Mhm.
knew and then you made the decision otherwise. And now is a good time to say, hey, I did that a few times this year, and I realize now that I need to pay attention to how I felt in the first place. Right. I know
Yeah, so that would
personally,
be good to journal about. Write that down and then
anything
look back on it and say, oh, I was right. So if you think you might forget it, maybe you start writing that stuff down. Then you have
yeah,
something to look back on.
love it. So speaking of writing, we're heading into a full Virgo moon. So on Friday the 23rd, my advice was to take it easy. Remember, it's a full moon week. Then we move into the full moon on Saturday, 7:30 a.m. This is the 5-degree moon, full moon in Virgo. And this is where we were talking earlier, Patty, a little bit about the challenge to accept the mess, is what I wrote down while you were
Mhm.
talking. So do you want to just give a little update on that again?
Yeah, we were talking about the full moon in Virgo. Now, Virgo, of course, wants everything to be perfect. The full moon is releasing things. Maybe you need to release some of those expectations of perfection. Nothing is ever going to be perfect. And you've got Mercury and Saturn opposing you, trying to push you into a certain way of doing things. So it is time to let go of things, accept that things aren't going to be perfect, and actually accept that in yourself and others, because you're probably being really hard on yourself and other people. And as I told you, as a Virgo, I can attest to that. You really
Yeah.
just have to let go of that, or else you're going to drive yourself crazy and you're going to drive other people crazy. But
Right.
nothing is perfect. And sometimes it's good to just accept that, to just sit with that. It is a challenge, but that's the full moon. Let go of that. Let go of expectations. Think of things, even write down what you want to let go of.
Love it.
Sometimes it could be even letting go of relationships. Maybe some relationship isn't working out for you and your expectations are too high. So is it you or the other person? So it's a good time to examine that as well.
Fabulous. Fabulous. All right. And that moon is opposite Mercury and Saturn, and it's trine Jupiter. And like I was saying in the opening comments, that I think it's a good time to just kind of go back through old notes, old plans, old
Mhm.
ideas. Again, the moon was in Virgo on New Year's Eve. So now that we come up to this full Virgo moon, kind of brings that theme up even more so of redoing and reevaluating and reinvestigating and renegotiating, all that stuff. So this is an excellent weekend for that. And on
Yeah.
Sunday, we move into some last minute plans maybe popping up on Sunday. And so go have fun on the 25th. Oh, and we're going to pull a few tarot cards.
Oh, that's right.
So let's
Okay.
pull a couple tarot cards for this week, President's Day week, February 19th through 25th. See what everybody needs to know. Do you want to start?
Okay, let me pull my two.
Oh, lovely.
Got the Queen of Swords. Look at that. That's a very straightforward. This is somebody who doesn't pull any punches. So don't be afraid to speak your truth.
Yeah.
Um, it could lead to something new and something very fruitful. I kind of like this. So this is
Yeah.
about honesty and directness, and I feel like it's creating a new world, a new foundation, a new way of moving forward. So this is the Queen of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles in the Dark Mansion Tarot deck.
I
But I
love it.
like this. Yeah, I like this
Yeah.
a lot. I like this straight talking, and that's going to lead to something really positive and really good.
And I know the Queen of Swords is air, but like I can't help but think Virgo. Like when I see the Queen of Swords, I always kind of feel Virgo because Virgo's ruled by Mercury. And the
Oh,
Queen
yeah,
of
she
Swords,
doesn't pull any punches. You're
right?
right. This is
Yeah.
very direct. She's not afraid to go after what she wants. She'll start something new. She'll do it alone or she'll do it with others, but she will start something new.
Well, great. And I have very complementary cards to that. I have the partner, the King of Swords,
Ah,
right? I love that he's in a wheelchair. I think that's the coolest King of Swords. So he's unstoppable. He has his helpers there with him. He is in a position of power. He will not be stopped.
mhm.
Okay. And then I also kind of like your Ace of Pentacles. I got the Empress.
Nice.
Isn't that cool? She's wearing a mask.
Mm.
Interesting, huh? Which is so weird. Think about babies having to learn parents' faces, right? And the whole period of masks. I didn't even think of that. So this is number 3, and it says there is beauty to be found in every experience.
Wow.
So these are your cards. Yeah. So have fun the week of 2/19 through 2/25. We're going to move into our final week, which is February 26th through March 3rd. And what are we starting off with here? I wrote down because we're still going to have the moon in Virgo on Monday, the 26th, because we're just coming down off that full moon. And I wrote down, clean your house. You never know who you might want to invite over.
You never know who might drop in. Yes, clean
Never
your house,
know.
get stuff done. Moon and Virgo. I kind of like because the moon is more about emotions. Maybe it'll calm you down a little and not amp you up. Like relax a little
Relax a little bit. There's like pretty positive vibes on Monday, the 26th. I mean,
bit.
if the moon moves into Libra early on in the morning, there's some trines going on, and there's more positive energy. And I kind of got the vibe that, like, I don't know, I just kept getting the vibe that there's going to be a lot of like couples getting together this month,
Mm,
even though I know it's Valentine's Day and I know that tends to happen that time anyways, but there's just a lot of like possible maybes, or like, Aquarius is known for friends. And a lot of times I notice people who have like Venus and Aquarius, they'll find love through someone they know from their
mhm.
friend group, right? So on Monday the 26th, that was kind of the vibe I was getting. Like you just never know who might stop in or be back in town. So clean that house up on the 26th. On the 27th, we have an opportunity to break free of some old ways, is what I wrote down. We do have a square with Mars, with Jupiter, and I forget what made me think opportunity to break free of old ways, but there must be something there with Saturn and something there with Aquarius. So I say go for it. Because Aquarius in general wants us to move forward, to bring in the new, to find better ways, and to leave some of the outdated ways behind.
Yeah, it wants us to have breakthroughs and to break down things that don't work anymore.
I love it. Now we're getting closer to the moon moving into Scorpio. So by Wednesday night, the moon will be in Scorpio. Patti and I love Scorpio, right? We just love
Hmm.
Scorpio. You are a Scorpio moon.
I am a Scorpio.
You are a Scorpio moon. So do you feel like alive when the moon's in Scorpio?
Yeah, I guess I do. I feel like my intuition is very heightened at that
Yeah.
time because it's already an intuitive sign and then the moon is there and yeah.
Yeah. I love when the moon's in Scorpio, it hits a couple of my planets. And so I notice that that's a time period that I usually feel pretty charged up. So I guess it depends. That's why it's so important to follow a moon calendar because it kind of can show us like we can start to see where our power days are, right? So if I know that I have something big going on during the moon in Scorpio, even though I know I'm probably going to want to rest a little more,
Hmm.
um, it's usually a thumbs up for me because it's a power time.
Yeah.
So Moon in Scorpio, it's going to be actually squaring Pluto and Aquarius on the 28th. Just focus and get some things done. On the 29th, we have another square with Mars and Pluto. I just wrote down it's an okay day to just chill out. And it's also the leap day, right? It's our
That's
extra
right.
bonus day of the year.
Ooh, the 29th. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to use that day to rest or do whatever it is you want, Scorpio tends to be associated with like I think of like a dark room, right? I
Mhm.
know like me having a few planets in Scorpio, one of my tendencies is when I get overstimulated is to go into darkness, like no lights. Just got to calm down.
No lights. You could even go to a movie. There's do something very quiet. I agree. That's a good time to chill. And I always find that interesting, the 29th, because people who are born that day, that's very special. You technically only have a birthday once every 4 years. So that makes it very
Pretty cool.
unusual.
Pretty
Yeah,
cool.
very cool.
All right, so then we're going into March 1st here. There's so many aspects going on March 1st. And I just wrote lay low. Things are complicated. Don't take it personally. It's just pretty intense. Things should lighten up by the weekend. We're gonna have a Sagittarius weekend. Um, and Sagittarius, us Sagittariuses, we like to get going. We might be spur of the moment, not always well planned out. Um, and so Saturday is a good day to get out and about, less talk and more fun on Saturday. And on Sunday, rest if you need, daydream if you need to, and just really take good care of yourself as we move deeper into Pisces season.
Yeah, I like that Sagittarius on the weekend because either go out with the Sagittarius, have some fun, or let that inspire you. Have a good time, let loose.
Yeah.
And do something spontaneous because I know Sagittarians don't like any restrictions. They just like to go. Try to embrace that energy that weekend.
Yeah, and also like, March isn't like we might still be in hibernation mode here in
Hmm.
New England, but this is even a good time to plan a trip for later, right?
Sure.
Sagittarius loves to get a map out and loves to get into to research different things and see maybe you're planning ahead. So it's a good time for that too.
And even if it's not either planning ahead or even if the weather's bad, watch a movie that's different, read a different book, do something a little different, even if it's inside. You can do that. Just
Yeah,
let the
especially a
energy
foreign
inspire you.
film. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to pull a couple cards. You ready?
Okay.
For our last week of February. Let's see, the leap year.
Okay.
All right, let's see. All right, I'll go first this time. It says broom, tidy up your life so you can make space for something better. Oh my goodness, didn't I just say on Monday to clean your house? Now, this is card number 13. Is that death?
Yeah,
Huh.
would be death.
That would be death. That's an interesting version of death. Like she's sweeping out the old energy. And it looks like she's got a box that says donations on it. So she's like clearing house. Wow. I love that this came
She's
up when I said clean your house on Monday.
she's decluttering. She's like, okay, we're getting rid of everything. That's death. Okay, everything must go.
Everything's got to go. Burn some sage, clear some. Look at this is my little thing that I post every week for the forecast. And I have
Hmm.
this little witch dusting
Oh, look
or
at that.
it's like the same scenario. It's funny. All right, and my second card is the Eight of Cups. Now, he's leaving behind. Interesting with the cups broken. I haven't seen this version. Usually they're standing. Some
Yes.
are, yeah, some are really broken. One, two, three, four of them look like they aren't broken. So he's walking away from some, I think it's just like she's getting rid of stuff. He's leaving behind the broken glasses. There's some emotion, some old stuff. It's Pisces season. It's,
Hmm.
there's like, I don't even think there's a planet in retrograde right now.
Yeah,
I think they all went direct. I'm pretty sure. So
I
it's
think
like,
so.
let's get this done. Let's freshen up. I mean, spring is not that far away. Let's get ready. Let's not carry this old, like, it feels like old, sticky, karmic energy. We're cleaning house.
Hmm.
What do you have?
Well, I'm using the Light Seers Tarot again. And once you clean house, you can go out and have fun.
Whoa, there's that trip we were talking about
There's
planning.
that trip. And look at this. This is the Six of Pentacles. So make
Hmm.
sure you have your money, your budget done. Also, it's the give and take with friends, with other people. So sometimes it's good to do things with other people.
Yeah.
Um, I like that. I like the balance of it all. But yeah, there's that kind of letting loose because we were talking about a little bit of that Sagittarius stuff. But yeah, this could be planning also somewhere to go. As you
Yeah.
said, this is somebody, they're out and about having a good time, making sure they have all their money set, and maybe also making sure they choose the right people on their journey. So this is
Yeah.
nice energy here.
With Mercury retrograde kicking off the new year, I know for myself, I took that very deeply as this is the time for me to get my finances straight, to really learn how to invest and how to budget and all of that. And so just thinking about money and budgeting and your Six of Pentacles next to that card that reminds me of a trip just feels like if you can put the money away, like there's less guilt or less worry about like taking that trip or having that fun, right? So as we're in a Sagittarius weekend, we can think about, yeah, what is it that I even want to do? And start making the
Hmm.
little envelope we can stuff the cash in for so we can go. So
Yeah, and having a good time.
even if you're not leaving now, it's like we're almost like my cards are indicating like making space and clearing out old clutter. This can even be like going through your bank statement and clearing through the
Hmm.
where you're throwing your money away, right? And then you've got it so that it's like, here's your money and here's your fun.
Yeah, yeah, plan for that because it looks like a good time. And yeah, doing something with friends, and also they give you that balance at Six of Pentacles, so people are on the same page, somebody you could have a lot of fun with.
Love it. Thank you for joining us talking